They say you can tell when someone stops loving you, but they never tell you how quietly it happens. For me, it started with laughter. Not joy, not humor, just the kind that cuts deeper than silence. Her name's Lena. We'd been married 7 years, lived in a 12th-floor apartment overlooking the city, a skyline we once dreamed would represent our future. Now, it just looked like distance. I remember that night like it's carved into my ribs. Rain against the glass, the clock blinking 11:47 p.m. and her phone lighting up on the counter every few minutes. She said she was just tired from work. But I knew tired. Tired doesn't smile at a screen like that. I picked up her phone when she was in the shower, and there it was, Ethan. The name alone felt like a crack in my chest. Their messages weren't even hidden, open, casual, filled with private jokes and tiny hearts. The kind that used to be ours. You make me feel alive again. I can't stop thinking about that night. He'll never know. I read those words over and over. Each time, it felt like the air thinned. Like I was drowning inside my own home. When she came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, humming. I couldn't even speak at first. Lena. Her humming stopped, yeah. I held up the phone. She froze for a second, then smiled. Not a nervous smile, not guilt, amusement, and then she laughed. That sound, that cruel, breathy laugh, it still echoes in me. Oh my God, you actually looked through my phone, she said, shaking her head. Do you have any idea how pathetic that is? My voice cracked. You're sleeping with him. She shrugged, drying her hair. Why do you care so much now? You haven't touched me in months. That hit harder than the cheating itself. I stood there stunned like a ghost watching my life burn. Lena, we've both been stressed. Work bills. Oh, don't make this about life. She cut me off, voice sharp. You stopped seeing me a long time ago, Ryan. I just found someone who does. I don't remember what I said after that. Maybe I didn't say anything at all, because the silence between us said everything. She threw on her clothes, grabbed her phone, and walked toward the door. No hesitation, no glance back, just that same cold smirk on her lips, the one that told me I'd already lost her. And before she left, she said something that still replays in my mind. You'll get over it. You always do. Then the door closed, and the apartment, our home, became a graveyard. I sat there for hours, staring at the spot she used to sit on the couch, her coffee mug still half full, her scent still lingering on the air. It's strange how love doesn't vanish the moment someone betrays you. It lingers, quietly begging for one more chance. Even when your soul knows better, I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. At some point, I wandered to the window. The city glowed beneath me, alive, careless, beautiful, and I felt smaller than ever. In the distance, sirens echoed like a soundtrack to heartbreak. My phone buzzed once, a message from her. Don't wait up. That's when I realized it. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. No apology, no guilt, just a clean, deliberate detachment. I thought I'd feel anger, rage, but all I felt was emptiness. The kind that hums under your skin, steady and cold. By 3 a.m., I was still sitting there, motionless. The rain had stopped, but the streets below shimmered, reflecting neon signs and the last bit of my denial. That's when I made a decision. Not revenge, not yet, but I wasn't going to just disappear from my own story. I started writing everything down, every word, every moment. Because when someone laughs at your pain, you either break or you begin to rebuild, and I didn't know it then. But the next time Lena laughed, it would be the last time she ever laughed at me. The first week after Lena left felt like static. Noise, empty sound filling every room. I still made coffee for 2 out of habit. Still checked my phone, waiting for messages that never came. Still half expected her keys to rattle in the lock, her voice to fill the hallway. But she didn't come back, not that week, not the next. Instead, she came back to social media. Every time I opened my phone, she was there in fragments, her laughing at a rooftop bar, her glass raised in the air, city lights behind her. And next to her, a man I didn't know, Ethan. I didn't need to see his face to know it was him. I could tell by the way she leaned toward him, that unspoken intimacy, the body language of someone newly alive. It hurt. But worse than that, it humiliated me. Friends called, some said they were sorry, some didn't know what to say, and some, the worst kind, just wanted the gossip. Bro, I heard about Lena, you good. I wasn't, but I said I was. Because no one really wants the truth when they ask that question. The truth was I was unraveling, not with rage but with silence. It's the quiet that kills you. Nights stretched long and merciless. The hum of the fridge, the ticking of the clock, they became unbearable reminders that I was alone. I started taking night walks, long ones, through streets that smelled of rain and cigarettes. Past cafes where couples laughed, past windows glowing with warm light. Everywhere I went, I saw her, in strangers' laughter, in shadows behind frosted glass. One night, I passed a bar we used to go to, and through the window, I saw her. Lena with him. Ethan was taller, sharper dressed, the kind of man who looks like he never doubts himself. She was smiling, radiant in that dim light. For a moment, I almost smiled too, because she looked happy. Until I noticed how she was laughing, like I'd never existed. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't always come with anger. Sometimes it comes wrapped in joy that used to be yours. I stood there for a full minute, maybe longer. And when she finally looked up, our eyes met, her smile froze. A second later, she whispered something to him. He turned to look, and I walked away, not because I wanted to, because I couldn't breathe. Back home, I tore down every photo of us, every frame, every note, every stupid memento of forever. The apartment echoed with the sound of things breaking, and when it was all done, I sat in the middle of the floor, surrounded by fragments of a life I used to believe in. That night I didn't cry, I just stared at the city, the same skyline she used to call beautiful. Now it looked hollow. A few days later, she texted, not to apologize, not even to check on me. "Can we talk about the lease?" That was it, no emotion, no acknowledgement. It was like I'd become a number in her list of errands. I typed a dozen replies, deleted them all, then finally sent, "Take it. I'll move out." I left 2 weeks later. The apartment felt too full of ghosts anyway. My new place was smaller, one bedroom, cracked walls, a view of nothing but other windows. But it was mine. It didn't echo her name. I started running in the mornings, cooking my own meals, doing things just to remember what being alive without her felt like, and slowly, painfully, something shifted. Not peace, not yet, but clarity. I began to see her affair not as an accident, but as the end of a long unraveling we both ignored. The signs were there, the late nights, the silence, the "I'm just tired" lies. I just refused to see them. Because when you love someone, you'd rather believe the pain is temporary than accept that the person is gone. Weeks passed, then months. Her life looked perfect online. Trips, dinners, smiles. I stopped checking, but sometimes her photos still found me, through friends, through memory, through cruel algorithms that didn't know I was trying to forget. Then one night, everything changed. I was leaving work when I saw her name light up my phone. Lena. I hesitated, heart pounding, then opened the message. "Can we talk?" It had been 3 months since I'd heard her voice. And just like that, it all came rushing back. Every sound, every fight, every word I wished I'd said. I called her. She didn't answer. Then another message. "It's important." My chest tightened. I didn't know it then, but that was the night her perfect world began to crack. The same man she left me for, the one who made her laugh, was about to destroy her too. And deep down, a part of me wanted to feel sorry for her. But another part, the part that still remembered her laughter when I confronted her, wanted to watch her finally understand what she'd done to me. It was raining again. Of course it was raining. I was on the balcony of my new apartment, watching the streets glisten under neon signs. The smell of wet asphalt, car exhaust, and burnt coffee filled the air. The city itself seemed to echo my exhaustion. And then I saw her, Lena. Soaked hair plastered to her face, mascara running down her cheeks. Her heels clicked against the concrete in a rhythm that made my stomach twist. She stopped in front of my door, and before I could react, she said my name, my real name, with that raw, vulnerable tone I thought I'd never hear again. "Ryan." She was trembling, not with anger, not with smirked amusement, but with shame. The door swung open before I could decide whether to let her in or slam it shut, and she walked inside, wet coat dripping onto the hardwood, leaving puddles at her feet. We didn't speak at first, silence, heavy, suffocating. Finally, she sank onto the couch, head in her hands. I made a mistake," she whispered, almost inaudible over the sound of rain against the window. "Ethan, he wasn't what I thought. I left you for him and—" Her voice broke. I've never been so stupid in my life. I stared at her, really stared. The woman who once laughed at my pain was now reduced to trembling in front of me. The same city that had witnessed my heartbreak was now witnessing hers. I don't know why I'm here," she continued, tears slipping down her cheeks, mixing with the wet strands of hair. I had to see you, to tell you. To, I don't know, maybe beg for forgiveness." Her words didn't reach my chest immediately. Instead, they ricocheted off walls, bouncing between anger, hurt, and an ache that hadn't left me since the first time she laughed at me. I wanted to speak, to yell, to punch the wall, but my voice caught in my throat. All I could do was watch. "You laughed, Lena," I finally whispered, my voice trembling. "You laughed when I confronted you. Do you even know how that felt?" She flinched, and I could see it that moment, that memory, finally piercing her armor. "I know," she said softly, voice hoarse. "I know, and I've regretted it every day since. Every single day." Her confession was a knife in my chest, but not the sharp, piercing kind. It was slow, grinding, the kind that gnaws at you, reminds you that some pain doesn't leave just because someone says they're sorry. We sat there in silence again. Rain, her quiet sobs, my fists clenching and unclenching. The city outside didn't pause, it just watched. Finally, she spoke again. I need you to know I didn't love him the way I loved you. I thought I had feelings for him, but it was just escape. He was easy. He was new. He was not you. Her words were both balm and fire. Balm, because part of me still remembered the woman I loved. Fire, because the wound she left was still open, raw, and pulsing. I could feel the battle raging inside me, the part that still loved her, the part that wanted to cradle her, forgive her, take her back. And the part that knew I deserved respect, that knew love without respect is just slavery to memory. You can't just come back after everything, I said, finally finding my voice, and expect me to, what, forget? Pretend nothing happened. She shook her head, tears streaking her face, her mascara running like rivers down porcelain skin. I'm not asking you to forgive me, not yet, I needed you to know. I needed to see you. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, every memory flashing, the laughter, the betrayal, the nights I cried alone, every ounce of love tangled with every ounce of pain. Finally, I exhaled, slowly, and whispered, almost inaudible, you can stay, but just for tonight. Her head lifted, surprise, relief, and then finally exhaustion. She didn't say anything more. We didn't talk again that night. The rain continued to fall. The city hummed, and somewhere in the space between forgiveness and vengeance, we existed together, briefly, as broken people. That night, I learned something painful. Love doesn't always return the way you want it. Sometimes it comes back bruised, uncertain, and fragile. And sometimes, letting someone sit with their mistakes is more powerful than punishing them. But even as I let her stay that night, I knew one thing with clarity. Tomorrow, I would have to decide whether to continue holding her close or to finally release the pain she caused me into the wind. Morning came slow. Gray light seeped through the blinds, cutting thin lines across the hardwood floor. The city was awake, indifferent, alive, while I felt suspended in a space where time had no mercy. Lena was still asleep on the couch. The rain had stopped, leaving the streets glistening, a reflection of everything that had happened, broken, wet, impossible to ignore. I watched her, really watched her. The woman who once laughed at my pain, the woman who left me for another, the woman who returned broken, crying in the night. And in that quiet moment, I understood something. I didn't need to punish her. I didn't need to forgive her either. I needed to let her go. The coffee machine hissed in the kitchen, a mundane reminder that life continues, whether you're ready or not. I poured 2 cups, black, bitter, exactly how I liked them. One for me, one for her, though I wasn't sure she'd want it. She stirred, eyes swollen, hair tangled across her face. Morning, she whispered, her voice fragile, almost shy. Morning, I said, setting the cup down in front of her. We didn't speak much. Words felt unnecessary. The night had said everything: betrayal, confession, guilt, regret, and the quiet pulse of love that refused to die completely. She sipped her coffee slowly, avoiding my gaze. And I realized that the woman in front of me wasn't the same woman who laughed at me months ago. She was smaller, humbled, shaken, and yet part of me still remembered her. The laugh I loved, the touch I missed. The warmth of a hand on mine in a city that never sleeps. We didn't need to talk about the past. The past was written. The ink had dried. Instead, I chose to look forward, to the life I still had to live, with or without her. She stood eventually, drying her eyes, folding herself into the smallest, most careful version of herself. I'll go, she said softly. I nodded, not because I wanted her gone, not because I didn't love her anymore, but because love isn't always possession. Sometimes, it's recognizing that some people only belong to their mistakes. She hesitated at the door, glancing back. There was a flicker of hope in her eyes. I gave her a small, almost imperceptible nod, a signal that there were no hard feelings, no punishment, no revenge, just acceptance. And she left. The apartment felt impossibly quiet. The city outside continued to pulse and hum, oblivious. I poured myself another cup of coffee and sat on the balcony. For the first time in months, I felt peace. Not happiness, not joy, but that quiet, steady knowing that life continues. That people leave, that people return, that some love doesn't break you, it just reshapes you. I closed my eyes and let the morning wind wash over me. The skyline stretched endlessly, glowing with muted orange and gray. And somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispered, "You survived, and that is enough." I opened my eyes and smiled faintly. It wasn't the smile of joy. It wasn't even a smile of relief. It was the smile of someone who had loved, lost, forgiven, and finally let go. Because some stories don't need endings. Some stories just need closure. And for me, this was it. Closure. And for me, this was it.